You open Instagram and see Ananya just got married. Rahul is traveling through Europe. Priya started her own business. Arjun bought a car. Vikram looks incredibly fit. And suddenly, it feels like everyone you know is moving ahead. That is, everyone except you. And you start worrying, what am I doing with my life? 5 minutes ago, you were perfectly okay with your life. But now, you're frustrated. So, what changed? Nothing changed in your life. It's just that you saw someone else's life and started comparing yours with theirs. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tejas Shine from Within. I'm Ansuya, a counselor and guide, and this is a space where I share simple ideas to help you become your best self so that you have a calmer and stronger mind. Human beings have always compared themselves with others, but social media has taken comparison to an entirely different level. You wake up in the morning and within minutes see hundreds of people who seem to be doing better than you in their careers, relationships, appearance, finances, fitness, lifestyle. Comparison itself isn't the problem. We naturally compare. We learn from others, we admire them, we may even compete with them. The problem begins when someone else's life becomes the measuring scale for our own. That's when admiration becomes inadequacy, inspiration becomes insecurity, and finally, insecurity can become resentment. If your mind starts using others as a measuring scale for your own life, that's when comparison begins to hurt. Interestingly, this isn't a new problem. The Ramayana gives us a beautiful example for how comparison can change the way we see our own lives. When Kaikeyi first hears that Rama is going to be crowned king, she's actually happy. But then Manthara begins to change the way she looks at the situation. Instead of seeing Rama's coronation simply as something good for Ayodhya, Kaikeyi begins to think, what does this mean for Bharata? And then she thinks, what will happen to my position? A situation that initially seemed perfectly acceptable is suddenly perceived as a threat. Notice what happened. The external situation didn't change. What changed was the story in Kaikeyi's mind. Her way of interpreting the situation changed. And sometimes that's all it takes for contentment to become insecurity. You may be perfectly happy with your job until LinkedIn shows you someone your age becoming a senior executive. You may be comfortable being single until social media seems to tell you that everyone you know is getting married. You may be happy with your home until you start seeing other people's beautiful houses and vacations. Your life hasn't suddenly become worse, but comparison has changed the way you see it. And once comparison starts, the mind can create a very dangerous question. Why am I not where they are? But think about it. Do you know their starting point? Do you know their opportunities? Do you know their struggles, their family circumstances, their failures, their financial situation, their private life? Probably not. You're comparing your complete, messy, behind the scenes life with a carefully selected glimpse of someone else's life from their social media feed. That's not a fair comparison. And yet, we do it every single day. Comparison can do two things. One, it can make you learn and grow. Or two, it can make you feel threatened. If you learn and grow, you move forward. Feeling threatened, though, can lead you to destruction. If you repeatedly feel that others are ahead of you, comparison can soon turn into insecurity. And eventually, that can become resentment. You stop thinking, I wish I could achieve that too. And you start thinking, why do they get to have it and I don't? That's a very different mindset. The Mahabharata gives us a powerful example of where this path can lead. Duryodhana repeatedly saw the Pandavas' abilities, their prosperity, and their success. Their rise became increasingly difficult for him to accept, and he felt, why should they have what I don't? And later, that turned into something even more dangerous. If I cannot have it, why should they have it? This is where comparison stops being about improving ourselves and starts becoming about bringing someone else down. Eventually, that resentment of Duryodhana led to the entire clan's destruction. So, what do? We cannot always ignore the success of others, but we can certainly catch ourselves when our mind enters the comparison mode. The next time you see someone doing well and feel that uncomfortable tightening inside, pause. Ask yourself, am I inspired or threatened? If you are inspired, learn from them. If you are threatened, ask yourself the next three questions. First, what exactly am I envying in them? Is it their money, their freedom, recognition, relationships, fitness, career? Second, ask yourself, do I actually want that what they have, or do I just want to feel successful? And third, ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do about it? These questions and trying to answer them turns comparison from an emotional spiral into useful information that you can act upon. And then ask yourself the most important question. Am I actually behind, or am I simply on a different timeline? Because there's no universal schedule for life. One person may reach a milestone at 23, another at 33. One may find their career early. Someone else may change careers at 40. Someone may marry young. Another person may never marry. One may become financially successful very early. Another may take much longer. And none of these timelines make one life more valuable than another. You see someone else's career and question your own. You see someone else's lifestyle and feel yours isn't enough. You see someone else's timeline and believe you are late. Slowly, their life becomes the standard by which you judge yours. But different timelines do not mean it is not worth it. And this is where Krishna's advice from the Bhagavad Gita becomes relevant. In the 35th shloka of the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Śreyān sva-dharmo viguṇaḥ paradharmat svanushtitat swadharme nidanam Śreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. It is better to follow your own path, even imperfectly, than someone else's path perfectly. It points us towards our own appropriate path, our nature, responsibilities, circumstances, and way of living. The Gita reminds us, your path doesn't have to look like that of everyone else. So, the next time you scroll through your feed and think, everyone is ahead of me, stop. Don't turn someone else's timeline into evidence that you are failing. Don't let their success make you abandon your plan. Their success is theirs, and your path is yours. And the question isn't, am I ahead of them? The question is, am I becoming who I am meant to become? Because you don't have to live someone else's life perfectly. You have to live your own life well. Instead of asking, why does everyone seem ahead of me? Ask yourself, am I learning? Am I growing? Am I becoming better than I was yesterday? Someone else's chapter 20 cannot make your chapter 8 a failure. Someone else's success is not proof of your failure. Social media constantly invites us into comparison. But you don't have to accept the invitation. Look at your own road and walk it sincerely. So, stop comparing and start living your path. Social media makes comparison almost unavoidable. But remember that different people have different timelines, circumstances, and different paths. Comparison can turn insecurity into jealousy and resentment. Instead of asking, am I ahead of others or behind others? Ask yourself, am I moving? Am I moving in the right direction? Your path doesn't have to look like theirs. Walk your own path well. And remember, you don't have to walk someone else's path perfectly. You just have to walk your own path well. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or thought you want to share, get in touch with me. Namaste and have a great day.